recording of the roll.
All present.
Approval of consent agenda. Are there any changes or anything we need to do there?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Carey to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Thayer.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Program.
Yes. Item D, approval of the monthly check register report.
With this agenda, we only have the check register report for October. I sent out an email. If you didn't get it, the auditors are on site and keeping us busy. I haven't had full time to prepare the revenue and expenditure report and the cash balances report. Those will come at the first meeting in November. The check register for our vote is here for you to approve. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Any questions?
I make a motion to approve the check register.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Tower to approve the monthly check register as presented. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Semo.
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Thayer.
Yes.
Program.
Yes. Item E, approval of the agenda. It is my understanding that we need to remove item H. Any further changes that need to be there?
I'll move to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Tower, second by Commissioner Semo to approve the agenda as amended. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item F, citizens wishing to address the commission on items on the agenda. 3-minute limit, please, and if you're able, please approach the podium and state your name. Okay. Item G, presentation. We have a plaque presentation from Moni Shopster for her years of service. And I would just have to say that working with Moni was great. She was very respectful to work with. She was easy to work with, and just working with Moni, I see that she's dedicated to our community with different programs that do very well, the minors and the safe ways to school, the name of it. But you definitely have a passion for our community. I really appreciate all that you've done for years.
I'd like to add to that. I think I know so many people, but he was a really dedicated and hardworking city commissioner. She participated in the union negotiations. She participated in the new website and many other activities, and went beyond what most commissioners do. So thanks, Amy.
For 2 years flying, you forget all the things you've done from the beginning. Again, thank you very much for being involved. Commissioner would like to present. It's pretty nice looking plaque too. Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you.
One more proceed.
Congratulations on we'll have a good 2 years coming up. I hope so. Thank you. Okay, it takes us to old business. Item I, Jason Allen and code enforcement. Update on life property cleanup.
Recently, we've had, I believe, 8 public hearings on different blighted properties throughout town. Happy to say that 5 of the property owners complied with our recommendations and requirements before it was time for us to take any action, which is great. We have another one that we gave 30 days to, which is almost up. He's been making good progress. He's had some vehicles removed, camper removed. He's almost got his garage, which is good to see. Another one up on Oak Street, we had sent in city crews to do some cleanup. We've been there a couple of days. There is some valuable stuff up on top of the hill, so we've given him until June 1st to get that out of there himself. And if it's not done on June 1st, we'll be there to finish it clean. So we're hoping to take care of the situation and take care of our life problems up there on top of folks. We did have one that we have not been able to make contact with the owner, and per the attorney's recommendations, we're going to try a different route to get a hold of her, about the structure that it keeps in over the winter. So, I don't know if you have any questions on the past public hearings that we had, or
When is Mr. Harden's property going to be torn down?
when is 213 Bonnie going to be torn down?
We don't have a date yet. We thought we had a date last commission meeting. The contractor was not able to meet that date. I understand we're going to probably need some work in the other area. We've had multiple calls into him to try to get a date set, and we have not been able to set a date with him yet. So it's getting a little frustrating on our end. Trying to get a date set. We don't want the winter to keep him from being able to get that building done.
It's frustrating. I'm sure it is for you too. But I'd like to just say that I really feel like we're on the right track with the light. We'll do our goal setting. It'll be interesting to see what we say, but it seems to me that people are responding. You know, you're seeing it.
Yep.
And I think it's really encouraging. Thank you. Keep it
And
going.
maybe to add too, I know Jason's been working with the city attorney, kind of fine-tuning our process. We're really getting involved in more of the difficult blade issues. So they sat down and they kind of streamlined the process from the standpoint of getting some standard letters put together, making sure we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's. So I want to thank them for sitting down and going through that and really getting that process nailed down.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, it takes us to new business. Item J, discuss and consider setting a date and time for a city commission goal setting workshop.
And we don't have any particular dates set. We do commission, we're not really sure of all your schedules, so we do this every year where we go through and set goals that are the cumulative goals of the commission, and you've all been through it. I know Commissioner Sim has not, but it's a pretty, seems to be a pretty effective process, and it helps us then allocate our resources in the city and where you want to see them put. It also helps with the budget process too. So again, you need to allocate a little time for that. I was going to suggest, and I'll throw this out there, with that workshop, again, goal setting would be the focus, but there were a couple other items that we wanted to workshop with you guys, and whether we want to try to do them at that same time. We would like to go over US 2 in more detail, since that's a big project coming up, get you, up to speed on where we're at with that. And then also, if you wanted to squeeze it into the schedule, a tour of the gap. The gap, we've been doing a lot down there, it's pretty phenomenal, and it'd be worth, taking a half an hour, 45 minutes, and getting a tour of the gap maybe prior to having the workshop, just a suggestion.
How are commissioners feeling about before Christmas? Something like December 11th, just to want to date out there. So Wednesday.
Midweek is always bad for me.
Okay.
I try to look at either the Mondays that we do have commission meetings, or which would be, I think, the 9th and the 16th next month.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm also free, took some vacation time between the 23rd and January 3rd. The 2 weeks around Christmas time, people are doing weekends.
9th and 16th. Boy, I'd be able to get one of those dates.
Yeah, I think it looks like we have a meeting scheduled on the 9th, which would be, if you want to make it a long day, or try the 16th and just do it separately. No,
Whatever you guys like.
Scott, do you have any dates that will not work for you?
No, whatever works for you.
Okay.
The only date I'm out of town on the 9th, but the 16th I'm open.
16. Brandon?
That's fine.
That's fine.
Okay,
16th, 4:30?
4:30.
whatever time works for you guys.
Seems like
It depends how long it's gonna be active over on the 16th. 4 o'clock on the 16th.
4 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Sure.
Maybe save the DAP for last, since if Brandon's got to go to work, if that's something that you really want to do.
Why don't we just have the meeting after that? Can we do it down there?
Mhm.
We'll set up some tables and absolutely.
Just do it down there. Yeah.
Alright, sounds like we have an agreement, 16th at 4 o'clock. Scott, anything else that works for you?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, do we need a motion on that?
If you would.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we schedule our goal setting workshop for Monday, December 15th, 16th at 4 p.m.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Sheridan to set the date of December 16th at 4 o'clock for our city commission goal setting workshop to be held at the DAP. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item K, discuss and consider scheduling a public hearing to discuss the blighted property at 400 Cedar Street for Monday, December 9th at 5:25.
In your packet, I believe there was some photos of the property at 400 Cedar Street. Over the past 5 years, I sent 8 different violation letters to this property owner, mostly pertaining to vehicles, trailers, or junk hits throughout the site. The homeowner was, or the property owner was aware that we were going to have this meeting to set up this hearing. We would really like to take a good hard approach with this property owner, since he has been sent numerous violations in the past few years. As you can see, there's stuff scattered throughout, and we get numerous complaints about this.
Looks like there's a lot of heavy wood and equipment, and there's been no progress made so far as
There's been some progress made. I wouldn't say there hasn't been any, but it doesn't get to a point where it needs to be. So,
And all this, some of this material is also located on city-owned property, outside the footprint of he owns. So as you saw to the rear of the building, the wood pile is, that's actually city right away. And then to the west of the site, to the west of the site, the city property, and he has stored a lot of material on city property. So that's part of the whole issue out there also.
What does he do when we cite him? Nothing?
he'll make a little bit of progress, but I believe he just pays the small blight fees, and now we need to take it to the next level to take care of the problem.
And we had met with the property owner, just so you know, about 2 months ago. It has the deadline dates established, and went through exactly what you needed to clean up. And that's coming on. That's even above and beyond the formal notification process. So we're at a point where there's just been not been a response that we need on this site.
Well, I'll make a motion, we schedule the hearing described in item K.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Taylor to schedule public hearing as described in item K. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item L, discuss and consider appointing 2 city commissioners to a task force to evaluate specifications for the city refuse collection contract. I think myself, I'd be interested in being involved in that process. For the other commissioners, that would be.
I would like to. And we thought the task force process, and we could workshop with the whole commission, but I thought we'd sit down with a couple commissioners, discuss different options, get their ideas, how you'd like to see the contract structure, and bring it back to the full commission for review and consideration. But it'd be 2 commissioners, myself, and 2 other staff members.
I guess I'll make a motion, we appoint the mayor and Commissioner Power to attack the task force described in item L.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Taylor to appoint Commissioner Tower and Mayor Brooklyn to the task force to evaluate specifications for the city refuse collection contract. Any further discussion or concerns on this item? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item M, discuss and consider approving notice of intent Resolution 013-030, authorizing publication of notice of intent to issue revenue bonds for water supply system improvements.
This is for the Phase 3 water and sewer work that we've been working on over the last probably 2 years. It's essentially for the water and sewer work that's going to be done under US 2, when they rebuild US 2 over the next 2 years, and also for the neighborhood north of US 2 and west of Luxmore Street, and that whole neighborhood between Luxmore and Lake. So again, there's a water bond and a sewer bond, and this is a procedural process where with the resolution, if you so pass it, then we'll put a notice in the paper. There's a 45-day notice for comment, and it's part of the bonding process. There's one for water, one for sewer.
Just for clarification for me, have we done any action whatsoever on this? We have authorized bonding in the first place.
You've authorized moving forward with plans and specifications. The bonding process is kind of following currently. So we've gone forward with bonding. We've actually taken steps over the last 2 budgets to start adjusting the water and sewer rates. We're doing that over a 3-year period. You already adjusted over the last 2 years, and then the following year we adjust a little bit. Instead of taking one big adjustment, we've done it over a period of time, kind of smooth that rate adjustment.
Because I remember discussing it at workshops, but I don't know if we had actually taken any action.
Not only the bonds.
I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution described in item N.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Kayser to approve resolution 013-030 as noted in item M. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Sim.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Care.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item N, discuss and consider approving notice of intent to resolution 013-031, authorizing publication of notice of intent to issue revenue bonds for sanitary sewer system improvements.
I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution described in item N.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Kayser to approve resolution 013-031 as noted in item N. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Tower.
Yes.
Care.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item O, discuss and consider approving FEMA funding reimbursement agreement and authorize the appropriate signatures.
This is from the flood from this past spring. Staff has been working with FEMA folks over the summer to identify the projects, identify costs. This is the grant agreement that needs to be approved for us to get reimbursed. We do get reimbursed up to 75% of our costs. And we still have a few projects that are yet to be completed. There's a washout over on Murray Park Road that needs to be paved. But they will reimburse us for that, and that's a project we'll get done next year. So this will be the grant agreement that will authorize them to reimburse us for those costs.
I'll make a motion, we approve the FEMA agreement described in item O. So authorize the appropriate signatures.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Kayser to approve the FEMA funding agreement as noted in item O. Is there any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Care.
Yes.
Semo.
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Tower.
Yes.
Corcoran.
Yes. Item P, discuss and consider rental lease agreement with Matthew and Linda Bennett at the city center.
Again, we have a standard lease agreement we've been utilizing for rental of that space. These applicants are reviewed by the DAP board. They do look at each applicant and they set the rate based on their rate structure they developed for that space. And it's nice to say they only have a few spaces left. You'll see there's 3 on the agenda, and there may be 1 space left in that whole area up there. So they're very,
Nice to keep that fellow.
absolutely. It brings a lot of activity downtown, a lot of people, a lot of energy. So again, this agreement is for $75 a month. The individual will also have 7.5 hours of volunteer labor. It's a three-room unit, and it'll start, we had December 1st, but it's actually January 1st will be the start date for this agreement.
Make a motion, we approve the rental lease agreement described in item P.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Tower to approve the rental lease agreement as noted in item P. Any further discussion or concerns?
I have a question. So that 7.5 hours, that's awesome, that's built in there. Who monitors that, not approves that it's done, but how is that process done?
It's through the DAP board.
Okay.
They'll monitor that. And again, it's kind of a self-policing thing, because they all basically have their volunteer hours. And I would think if someone is not performing their hours, the others will kind of help self-police that. But it is through the DAP board.
So, do you know where do they volunteer the time at the DAP then, or does it matter? I'm
It
just
would be at the
curious.
DAP. It would be maybe everything from helping to paint the halls to spending time in their display area downstairs. A number of different things that they work on.
All right, thank you.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Tower. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item Q, discuss and consider rental lease agreement with comm at the city center.
I'll make a motion, we approve the rental lease agreement described in item Q with Paul Costello.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Tower to approve the rental lease agreement as noted in item Q. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item R, discuss and consider a rental lease agreement with all at the city center.
I'll make a motion, we approve the rental lease agreement with Polly Waddell described in item R.
Okay.
Motion by Commissioner Seymour, second by Commissioner Tower to approve the rental lease agreement as noted in item R. Any further discussion or concerns? All those in favor, aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item S, discuss and consider adopting resolution 013-032, authorizing submittal of the SAW grant application in the amount of $980,579 with no local match, and authorization of city staff to sign documentation as required.
This is a grant opportunity through the Michigan Department of Quality for basically analyzing, evaluating, and coming up with a management plan for our entire sanitary sewer system. Again, we have a very extensive sewer system. It's been built over many years. We've been replacing a good part of it over the last few years. But the DEQ has come up, they felt that it was a priority for them to encourage cities to really get a good handle on what we have for infrastructure. And they are willing to provide a grant up to $2 million per community. Now again, it's competitive, so it's not guaranteed that we can get this. But $2 million per community to go through this process. And gentleman from Coleman Engineering will kind of look at some of the details of what's included in this. They put a proposal together, they reviewed it with staff here, we have a lot of input on what this would entail. It is a 100% grant because of our low and moderate income status. And again, when this is in place, if there are dollars available in the future, it could open the door for some actual capital improvement grants. Go and actually get some bricks and mortars and pipe put in the ground. Again, that would be a step beyond this. This would at least get the structure in place to analyze what we have and what we need to do for the future and maintain and keep it up. But with that, we have Paul Anderson. Here, Paul, you're going to present on this, or right?
I'll take care of it. Thank you very much. Well, we talked actually 2 meetings ago, if you recall, about this SAW grant, stormwater, asset management, wastewater grant. And this is we wanted to kind of set that up, if you will, for tonight's meeting so that you understood it. In addition to analyzing the wastewater system, you're also going to analyze your stormwater system as well and implement a relatively extensive GIS system so that via the computer and the internet, folks can look up information about your system, but more importantly, your staff can go in the field with a tablet and et cetera, and look up on a particular manhole what was done to it when it was installed, et cetera, et cetera. And really, truly, it is the way of the future. It also have some GPS capabilities so that in the middle of winter under 6 inches of ice, they don't have to wonder where the manhole is, so they know it's an intersection. This technology, within a few feet, at least get the right corner of the intersection to start locating things in. As we talked about, this is a 100% grant, and you have no repayment based upon some certain criteria. Scott may have misspoke just a titch, it's not actually competitive, it's a lottery, if you will. If you meet the requirements that it's complete, and it's in their hands on the 2nd of December, your application with, we're thinking, the better part of 1,500 other communities, will be put in a hat, and you will be drawn, if you will, until their current 97 million, I think we discussed this a few weeks ago, is gone. It's our understanding that your name will remain in that said hat in the next batch of money that comes through, using up their total of 490, you'll continue to stay in that hat and continue to be drawn. All the other aspects as far as planning and construction revolve around this asset management plan being put in place first. So let's just say for the sake of discussion that you make it in the first round, the asset management plan is done a year later, and you apply for construction dollars. Our understanding is that your construction dollars will be put into the hat number 2, and hat number 2 will not be drawn out of until hat number 1 is empty, if you will. If you look at some of the numbers that some people have been put in and stuff, well, we were very optimistic and hopeful that this leads to more brick and mortars, as Scott would say. It does appear as if most of the asset management will get done and not as much construction as we'd all like would probably get done. However, it's a great tool to, where in the past 5 or 8 years ago, you guys did fairly extensive smoke testing to determine where your I&I problems are and the like. Under this asset management plan, you'll know that ahead of time. And it will be a good document for you to determine where your next projects are. And in fact, there's a cost factor to this. You'll have to list those projects and how much they cost. And for example, you're meeting on the 16th of December, this would be a great tool to see where your next stormwater and wastewater projects may lie. Okay? I'll avoid a reiteration of 2 meetings ago. Can I answer any questions?
When will we start to find out if the grant application on who was awarded to, when it will be awarded?
So it's April.
April? Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna take a few months for them to sift through, possibly sooner, but they're talking about April. I'll point out 2 other quick things. Part of the asset management plan is a capital improvements project list, so it will name, the capital improvement projects that need to be done for the sewer system and storm sewer systems. And the larger projects that are really going to take some large funding, we don't have to have a budget for them in the annual budget for sanitary sewer. We can list them as to be funded by future grant and loans or something of the nature. You don't have to have it in your budget. And then storm sewer, you get this asset management plan, and you don't have to have a set funding structure for your storm sewer system. The funding structure analysis is purely on the sanitary sewer, and you will have to analyze your rates and make sure that you are funding appropriately for your rates. If you are not funding appropriate for future improvements to the system, then they could make you adjust your rates in the upward direction, most likely. But since Ironwood's done a lot of analysis of their rates through the rural development loans over the last 4 or 5 years, both Coleman and the city feel comfortable with where the rates are at and are not too scared of that requirement that rates may have to be increased.
Commissioners, any questions?
I'll make a motion, we approve the resolution described in S.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Taylor to adopt resolution 013-032 as noted in item S. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Seymour.
Yes.
Sim.
Yes.
Howard.
Yes.
Gale.
Yes.
Yes. Item T, discuss and consider approval of engineering services contract with Home Engineering Company for the development of an asset management plan under the above referenced SAW grant contingent upon the grant award by the MDEQ to the city of Ironwood.
With this, the fees for this work are included in that grant application, and they are 100% grant eligible.
So does that mean that it doesn't cost us anything unless we get the grant?
Right, it'll be funded through the grant.
Right.
So, correct, there won't be any direct out-of-pocket cost for the city. It'll come up through the grant. they basically set the structure of what those fees can be.
So we're not encumbered until we get the grant.
Correct.
I'll make a motion we approve the engineering services contract as described in item T.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Kayer to approve the engineering services contract as noted in item P. Any further discussion or concerns? Can we roll call?
Sim,
Yes.
Tower,
Yes.
Gare,
Yes.
Seymour,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes. Item U, discuss and consider adopting the Title VI non-discrimination plan to designate the city clerk's,
Coordinator.
city clerk coordinator and authorize the mayor to sign the necessary documents.
The city's received notice from the Michigan Department of Transportation that we do have to have a more formal non-discrimination plan in place. Now, again, the state gets federal funding, and because they're using federal funding, they have to pass on these requirements down to the locals, because that money does sift down to us. So we have to adopt this plan and file it. And it's fine, it's a non-discrimination plan, it's a pretty part of what we do already, but there's a lot more paperwork involved, I guess, that we have to make sure we're documenting.
I'll make a motion we adopt the Title VI non-discrimination plan described in item U.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Tower to adopt the Title VI non-discrimination plan as noted in item U. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Tower,
Yes.
Gare,
Yes.
Seymour,
Yes.
Sim,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes. Item B, discuss and consider approving change order number 3 for the amount of $8,000 deduct for the Civic Center ice skating equipment with arena systems.
And this is a direct result of all the volunteer labor, all the volunteer help that was provided to the Civic Center for the installing ice skating system for the new order. From local volunteers through the prison system too, we had prisoners that came out and volunteered. And there was a value to that. The contractor that built this provided a deduct in the amount of $8,000 in the Civic Center's budget in their pocket that they can spend on something else at a future date. So it's really, there was actually a value to all that help that made a big difference in the project.
It's great to see deducts instead of over change orders.
Absolutely.
Thank Joe Kayer for getting that papers and who our board does. It's nice.
I'll make a motion we approve change order number 3 as described in item B, resulting in $8,000 in our pockets.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Kayer to approve change order number 3 as described in item B. Any further discussion or concerns? Roll call.
Gare,
Yes.
Seymour,
Yes.
Sim,
Yes.
Tower,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes. Item W, managers report.
A few items to highlight, but before I get into those, I'm going to turn over to the city attorney. He's going to provide you an update on what we call the Andrasik case. It was a case that was going for litigation involving our public safety department. And pretty cool. I'm going to update, maybe give him a little background on it. I know Mr. Sim hasn't been involved in that in the past, and due to him, and maybe we'll wrap up that case.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Real short, it was a case that involved the deployment of a taser by one of your officers in which the individual suffered personal injuries as a result. Suit was filed in federal district court alleging excessive force, which the Constitution prohibits law enforcement to use excessive force. I'm happy to report the case has been dismissed, so the plaintiff has an opportunity to appeal to the next level, which would be the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. And so the clock's ticking on that. Their appeal will be due by the end of the year. So the city's insurance company for the police officers hired an attorney from Escanaba, Peter Stratton, and he successfully defended and got it dismissed, both as to the city and as to the particular officers. So the case is in all essence over, pending the outcome of an appeal if there is one that's filed.
Thank you.
All right, a few more items to touch base on. You probably saw in the paper that the DAP, with the help of our McKay and a lot of volunteer help, Smithsonian exhibit.
That's great.
Very, very exciting for the downtown, the city's whole area. But it's a big deal, and again, I'll be working on that over the next year, trying to get that in place and plan for that. So again, a lot of volunteer help to make that happen. Dennis Hewitt is going to be having the board review December 10th, Dennis.
Yes.
So again, there'll be notice in the paper, and what they'll do is go over any requests from individuals that may have questions on their homestead tax, poverty exemptions, and then we'll do veterans exemption too, that people can take advantage of. Paul had mentioned the finance department, and all the department heads essentially are working with the auditors that are coming in for the city audit, and that pretty much consumes 99% of Paul and his department's time to work through that, but they're going through that, and looks like that should be completed over the next few weeks. And then that report will come back to you for review. Public safety, the city commission had previously approved purchase of a new vehicle for them. It'll be a pickup truck, it'll be used for patrol and also snow plowing, and I guess that's been.
Should be available this week, so just waiting for the phone call. It arrived last week at the dealership.
Okay, so we roll into the fleet, and again, with winter coming, that will be much appreciated, I'm sure. Winter tax bills are going out this week, just to make you aware of that. The finance department is sending those out. Included with the tax bill is going to be an informational questionnaire going out to all the residents. And it's relative to the city's comprehensive plan, a series of questions that they're asking, trying to get feedback from the public in developing a new comprehensive plan and updating that plan. So we're encouraging everybody to fill that out and get it back to the city offices. It'll be very, very helpful information as they move forward with the comprehensive plan development. Staff has been working with MDOT on the US2 project. We'll go into more detail at a workshop on that. But that still is on track for 2014 construction for the first phase. And with the holiday, the city offices are going to be closed Thursday and Friday. Make everybody aware of that. There's notice in the paper and it'll be posted on the door. And with the holidays coming, there's a number of events at the Memorial Building which are held. There's the Santa's headquarters, which is held down in the auditorium. That's going to be Wednesday, December 4th. They get a lot of local area children that really get a nice benefit from that. A lot of donations are received for that program. And also the holiday shop with cop, which public safety is very involved with. And that's going to be Saturday, December 7th. And we do have the Jack Frost Parade coming too. That's going to be a week from this Friday, December 6th. So everybody's invited to come down and participate in that. And many other things going on, but that's, keep that as my.
One more, Scott. We're closed Thursday and Friday, but garbage service will not change. They are picking up on Thursday and they are picking up on Friday.
Are we gonna put a note in the paper, Bob, just to remind people?
We're all writing it down right now.
Perfect.
How did that work again?
Thursday's pickup will be on Thursday and Friday's pickup will be on Friday.
So no change. to
No
that.
change.
Okay, thanks.
Scott, I have a question for you on item 8. We were talking about, it says in here, as part of the detour route, the MDOT will also be completing a mill and overlay at the intersection of Lake and Air.
Correct.
Will that free up any or all of the money that was budgeted for that?
Yes, it should. So that's the nice part about the detour. They're going to fix a few of the areas that we have problems on the route. The plow in front of the building where we have that drainage trench. We're going to do some milling and overlaying in that area to get that trench worked out with it, and also the intersection.
Any further questions? Takes us to item X, other matters, 3-minute limit.
I have just a question about the dig grid. Have we heard any rumblings, any?
We actually just, that was the big grant, it wasn't here, they just showed me today, we just had some mail today that came in, I believe it was a dig, and we just double checked. Downtown infrastructure grant. We have not been selected for the big grant.
It's off the table. I had heard that rumor.
Yeah.
Because that affects the money that we reallocated. And we should look at that project again soon.
Absolutely.
Looks like the proceed with them as planned. Bad news, but it's nice to be able to go back to those projects.
Right. And with that, with the big grant, we had commissioned a kind of restructure versus the funding was going to go. Now that we haven't received that, it opens up the funding to go back to some of the other projects that we previously prioritized.
Maybe during our goal setting, we could actually discuss, kind of reassess some of that money that we had allocated towards projects and take a look at it again and see if there's ways that we can adjust that, especially with this money from the lake and air being freed up also.
Right. You do, I'll just put a plug out there, you do have a lot of street needs without the street bond going forward. It's really look at, and we'll get into more of this, many needs out there, but there are going to be some street needs that we need to, look at it. $2 the average, we'll go over all the different things that.
Because my question is, was the understanding that anything that we had allocated toward that match, would that just automatically go back to what it was allocated for, or do we have to revisit that?
You can reconfirm that. I guess that was our assumption, that we had prioritized the projects, and that if we can reallocate that to the TIG grant, that you approve that. But I guess my impression was if you didn't get the TIG grant, it was staying in those project areas. We'll confirm that at the workshop. Make sure that's what you want to do with that.
That's all I have.
I'd say happy Thanksgiving for everybody coming up. That's all I have. So that will take us to item Y, citizens wishing to address the commission on items not on the agenda. 5-minute limit, please. If you're able, please approach the podium and state your name. Any takers? Okay, takes me to item Z, agenda.
Also move.
Motion by Commissioner Semo, second by Commissioner Talbot to adjourn this meeting. Discussion or concern? All in favor, aye.
What?